Over 60. Stop eating these 7 fruits. They're destroying your leg strength. Did you know that some of the very fruits you've trusted your whole life could quietly be making your legs weaker after 60? You might have noticed it yourself. Walking up the stairs feels heavier. Getting out of a chair takes more effort than it used to. Even a simple stroll around the block can leave your calves aching, your knees stiff, or your ankles swelling in ways you never expected. Many people assume this is just old age. But after more than 30 years as a doctor working closely with older adults, I can tell you that age alone is not the culprit. I have seen men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s regain strength and independence simply by making different choices at the table. Science backs this up. In fact, Doctor, Ellen Shaw published a study at Harvard showing that when seniors stabilize their blood sugar through diet, they preserve more muscle and mobility compared to those who don't. And here's the surprising twist. Certain everyday fruits, the very ones we've always believed were harmless, can cause sudden spikes in blood sugar, hidden inflammation in the joints, and gradual loss of circulation to the legs. The effects aren't instant. They build quietly over months and years until one day climbing stairs feels like climbing a mountain. That's why I'm speaking with you today. Not as a voice of fear, but as a doctor who has walked beside thousands of older adults through the challenges of aging. I want you to know the truth. It is never too late to protect your strength, and often the first step is not about medicine or exercise. It's about what's on your plate. Now, before I share these insights, let me invite you into something larger. I'm building a community of seniors who are determined to stay strong, independent, and joyful no matter their age. If you'd like to be part of this circle, let me know your age in the comments below. It helps me understand who's listening, and it reminds you that you are not alone on this journey. In just a moment, we'll uncover the 7 fruits that may be quietly eroding leg strength after 60. Some of them may surprise you. And the last one is so common in American kitchens that almost every senior I meet eats it at least once a week. By the end of this video, you'll know which fruits to approach with caution, how to enjoy them more wisely, and what delicious alternatives can actually help your legs grow stronger. So stay with me until the very end. Your future steps, your balance, and your independence may depend on it. Number 7, pineapple. If your calves feel heavy after dinner, if your ankles puff a little by evening, or if your knees seem stiffer the morning after a sweet dessert, pineapple may be part of the picture. It is bright, juicy, and refreshing, yet for many adults over 60, it can push blood sugar up faster than the body likes and keep joints a little angrier than they need to be. Here is the simple science. Pineapple is dense in fast carbohydrates. When you eat it by itself, especially on an empty stomach, glucose can surge quickly. In older adults, those quick rises are linked with more stiffness and slower walking speed over time. A clinical team from a major U.S. university reported that steadier post-meal blood sugar in seniors is associated with better leg strength and mobility across the following months. Pineapple also contains bromelain. For some people, bromelain is helpful for digestion. For others on blood thinners or antiplatelet medicines, it may change how those drugs act. A pharmacology update from a large teaching hospital cautioned that bromelain can interact with anticoagulants, which is why I always ask my patients to check with their prescribing doctor if they take warfarin, apixaban, rivaroxaban, clopidogrel, or similar medicines. What should you do? You do not need to ban pineapple. You need a plan for it. Keep the portion small. Aim for about half a cup, roughly a handful, not a cereal bowl. Never drink it as juice. Juice removes the fiber that slows sugar down. Pair it with protein or healthy fat. A few ounces of plain Greek yogurt, a scoop of cottage cheese, or a small palm of almonds slows digestion and flattens that sugar rise. If you enjoy pineapple in a savory dish, add it to a chicken salad or a grilled salmon bowl rather than eating it solo. Choose the right time. Lunch is safer than late night. After sunset, our insulin response is naturally less efficient. If your legs feel heavy by bedtime, move sweet fruit earlier in the day. Watch the pattern, not the one bite. If pineapple shows up in your smoothies, your fruit cup, and your dessert all in the same day, that stacking effect is what makes stairs feel steeper next week. Here is a quick swap. If you crave that tropical brightness, mix 2 or 3 small pineapple chunks into a cup of berries. The berries lower the overall sugar load and add anthocyanins that support circulation. A mini story from my clinic. Linda, 68, loved a tall glass of pineapple juice after dinner. Her ankles were puffy most nights, and her morning walks felt slow. We changed one thing. She switched the juice for half a cup of pineapple at lunch with cottage cheese and added berries to her evening dessert. 2 weeks later, she told me the stairs at church felt easier, and her shoes left fewer marks around her ankles. So enjoy the flavor, but respect the portion, pair it wisely, and keep it to the right time of day. That is how pineapple stays a pleasure without quietly stealing strength from your legs. Now, if even a fruit praised for its anti-inflammatory powers can quietly strain aging legs, what about the fruit almost every American home buys every week for quick energy? Number 6, bananas. If you wake up with stiff calves, or if your legs feel heavier after lunch even though you didn't walk far, bananas may play a quiet role. They are soft, convenient, and comforting. Many older adults reach for a banana first thing in the morning or pack one for a snack, believing they are fueling their muscles. But after 60, the way your body handles that quick sweetness changes. Here is the simple science. Bananas are rich in rapidly digestible carbohydrates. That means the natural sugars enter your bloodstream quickly. In a younger body, the surge is buffered by strong insulin response and flexible blood vessels. In an older body, insulin works more slowly, and the tiny blood vessels that feed the legs are more fragile. The result is a spike, then a dip, leaving your muscles with less steady fuel. Researchers at the University of Michigan have reported that repeated blood sugar fluctuations are tied to more muscle weakness and higher inflammation in older adults. Bananas also carry a good dose of potassium, which is helpful, but the sugar load can outweigh the benefit if the fruit is eaten the wrong way. There is another layer. Bananas can encourage fluid retention. If you already manage heart issues or take medications that affect fluid balance, too many bananas may leave your ankles puffier, your shoes tighter, and your knees more uncomfortable by evening. You may not notice it after one snack. The change is subtle, slow, and cumulative. That is why so many seniors tell me, "Doctor, I thought bananas were supposed to prevent cramps, but my legs still ache." What should you do? Again, you do not need to cut bananas out of your life. You need to shape the habit. Keep the serving to one small banana, not two large ones. Choose a banana that is yellow with a little green at the ends. The less ripe it is, the slower its sugars are absorbed. Avoid very ripe, brown-spotted bananas if you are already struggling with swelling or stiffness. Pair it wisely. Slice half a banana into your morning oatmeal with walnuts, or spread peanut butter on a small banana for a steadier snack. The protein and fat blunt the sugar spike and give your muscles longer-lasting energy. Timing matters. A banana before or after a walk is safer than eating it late at night. Nighttime sugar swings are harder for older bodies to regulate, and they can leave you with restless calves or early morning stiffness. Here's a quick swap trick. If you love the creaminess of banana in a smoothie, use half a banana and add frozen berries for the other half of the bulk. You still get texture, but with lower sugar and added antioxidants that calm inflammation. A short story to illustrate. David, 72, ate 2 bananas a day, one at breakfast, one before bed. His blood sugar was steady in the morning, but by evening his ankles were swollen and his sleep was disturbed by calf cramps. We changed the pattern. He kept one banana, cut it in half, and paired it with almond butter at lunch. The nighttime banana was replaced with half a pear. Within 3 weeks, he noticed his shoes fit more comfortably, and his evening walks around the block no longer left his legs dragging. So enjoy bananas, but treat them with respect. Portion, pairing, and timing make all the difference in whether this friendly fruit supports your strength or quietly erodes it. If even a fruit as familiar and filling as bananas can quietly burden aging legs, what about the tiny snack so many of us pop mindlessly by the handful, believing it to be heart healthy? Number 5, grapes. If your knees feel stiffer after a day of snacking, or if you notice a burning ache in your toes at night, those innocent little grapes may be part of the reason. They are small, juicy, and almost too easy to overeat. Most of us think of them as safe, even heart healthy, because they contain antioxidants. But for older adults, grapes can quietly build up trouble. Here is the simple science. Grapes are high in fructose, a type of sugar that your liver processes differently from glucose. When fructose is eaten in larger amounts, the liver struggles to handle it all. The excess can be converted into fat and uric acid. That uric acid then drifts toward the joints, most often the toes, ankles, and knees, where it may trigger pain, swelling, and stiffness. Doctors have long observed the connection between elevated uric acid and gout, but even without a formal diagnosis, seniors can feel the impact as mystery aches that seem to come out of nowhere. A team at the University of Michigan highlighted that higher uric acid levels in older adults were linked with more frequent joint discomfort and slower walking speed. The challenge with grapes is how easy they are to overeat. A handful becomes a bowl, and before you realize it, you've eaten 2 or 3 cups. Unlike heavier desserts, grapes don't make you feel full immediately. But every handful adds to the sugar load. That extra fructose fuels inflammation throughout the body, not just in the joints. It can leave you moving more slowly, with a heaviness in the calves or a stubborn stiffness in the knees after a simple walk. So what can you do? First, portion is key. A serving for someone over 60 is about half a cup. Just a small handful, not a large cluster. Eating grapes after a balanced meal is safer than eating them alone. Pair them with a slice of cheese or a handful of nuts to slow digestion and reduce the sugar surge. Avoid eating grapes right before bed, since nighttime spikes in uric acid are more likely to cause that sharp pain in the big toe or a restless, swollen feeling in your ankles. Here's a swap idea. If you crave that burst of sweetness, try mixing a few grapes into a salad with leafy greens, walnuts, and olive oil. The healthy fat and fiber help buffer the sugar impact. Another trick is to freeze grapes and eat just 2 or 3 as a cooling treat, instead of snacking through a whole bowl. Let me share a quick story. Mary, 69, kept a bowl of grapes on her kitchen counter. She would grab a few every time she walked past, and by the end of the day, she had eaten more than 2 cups. Her knees were sore, and she often woke up at night with pain in her big toe. Once we talked, she cut back to half a cup after lunch, always with almonds. Within a month, the night pain was gone, and her daily walks felt smoother. So while grapes look harmless, it's their small size and sweet flavor that can make them risky. Keep the portions small, pair them with other foods, and enjoy them with awareness. That way you get the benefit of their antioxidants without letting fructose quietly weaken your legs. If even something as tiny as grapes can quietly spark swelling and stiffness, what about the fruit we all associate with summer, hydration, and safety, yet can behave like pure sugar in the bloodstream? Number 4, watermelon. If your ankles swell after a picnic or your legs feel unusually tired after what should be a refreshing snack, watermelon might be the hidden reason. Watermelon seems innocent. It's light, watery, and low in calories. Most people think of it as nature's hydration, but for seniors, the problem isn't its water, it's its high glycemic index. The sugars in watermelon absorb so quickly that your blood sugar can spike almost as fast as if you had eaten candy. For younger adults, insulin quickly handles that rise. After 60, insulin response slows down, and circulation isn't as efficient. That means the sugar spike lingers, stirring inflammation that settles in the legs. Researchers at Tufts University have noted that foods with a high glycemic index are linked with more muscle fatigue and slower walking speed in older populations. The symptoms show up in subtle ways. You may notice a dull ache in your calves after an afternoon barbecue, or swelling around your ankles that makes shoes tighter by evening. Some seniors tell me they feel like they are dragging weights on their legs the day after eating large slices of watermelon. The fruit doesn't feel heavy in the stomach, but it can leave the legs sluggish. So how should you handle watermelon? The first rule is portion. 1 small wedge is fine. 2 or 3 large slices can push blood sugar far higher than your body wants. The second rule is timing. Watermelon at lunch or early afternoon is safer than eating it at night. After sunset, insulin response is weaker, and nighttime swelling is harder to manage. The third rule is pairing. If you eat watermelon with protein or healthy fat, like a few cubes of feta cheese or a handful of pistachios, you slow the absorption and reduce the spike. A practical swap. Instead of eating a whole bowl of watermelon cubes, mix a few pieces into a salad with spinach, olive oil, and nuts. You'll still enjoy the refreshing taste, but with fiber and fat that keep your blood sugar steadier. Let me give you a quick story. John, 70, loved ending summer days with a giant bowl of watermelon. He thought it was keeping him hydrated, but his ankles swelled every evening, and walking upstairs felt harder. We cut his portion down to one small wedge, always paired with a slice of cheese. Within 2 weeks, his ankles were slimmer, and his evening walks were easier. So enjoy watermelon, but treat it with respect. A little can refresh you, but too much, too often, can quietly drain the energy from your legs. If even a fruit as watery as watermelon can leave your legs heavy, what about the bright citrus you see on every breakfast table? Praised for vitamin C, but secretly harsh on aging joints. Number 3, oranges. If you wake up with stiff knees or feel hip pain after sitting a while, your morning orange juice may be adding fuel to the fire. Here's why. Oranges are packed with citric acid and natural sugar. That acid may irritate already sensitive joints, especially with arthritis or chronic stiffness. When combined with sugar, it can spike blood glucose, then trigger inflammation throughout the body. A Johns Hopkins review showed that seniors with higher dietary acid load reported more joint pain and slower walking speed. So while oranges feel refreshing, the internal effect can be stiffness in the knees, swelling around the ankles, or morning aches that you might mistake for just age. The issue is timing and form. Orange juice is the biggest trap. One glass may hold the sugar of 3 to 4 oranges without fiber to slow absorption. The result, a blood sugar surge, followed by inflammation that makes steps heavier. Eating a whole orange is less risky, but for many over 60, even that daily habit can add up. So what can you do? First, avoid daily juice. If you love oranges, keep to half a fruit, no more than a few times per week. Pair slices with a handful of almonds or a slice of cheese. Protein and fat soften the sugar hit. And never drink orange juice on an empty stomach. Try swaps. Berries for breakfast instead of orange juice, or half a pear instead of a second orange. You still get sweetness, but with less acid and a gentler effect on joints. A quick story. Susan, 66, began each day with a tall glass of orange juice. Her knees ached during morning walks, and she thought arthritis was to blame. We replaced the juice with half a cup of blueberries and a small slice of orange twice a week. In 3 weeks, she reported lighter steps and easier mornings. So while oranges have long been symbols of health, after 60 they can quietly stiffen joints. Treat them as an occasional treat, not a daily ritual, and your legs will thank you. If even oranges can stir hidden inflammation, what about the apple many believe is the safe choice because it tastes less sweet? Number 2, green apples. If even oranges can stiffen your joints, what about the fruit that many seniors trust as the safe apple? The crisp, tart green apple? At first glance, it seems healthier than red varieties because it tastes less sweet. But for older adults, green apples carry 2 hidden challenges: malic acid and natural sugar. That tart bite comes from malic acid. In younger bodies, it isn't a problem. But after 60, when the lining of the gut and joints is more sensitive, malic acid can act like sandpaper. It irritates tissues, sometimes leaving hips sore or knees tight the morning after. Even the feet can feel a subtle burning warmth at night if acid accumulates over time. The sugar is another concern. Green apples may not taste as sweet, but they still contain enough sugar to raise blood glucose quickly when eaten alone. For seniors, those spikes are harder to manage. They may trigger night cramps in the calves, morning stiffness, or fatigue when climbing stairs. A study from the University of Minnesota noted that older adults with frequent sugar fluctuations reported higher rates of leg weakness and restless sleep. So what can you do? First, watch the portion. Half an apple is often enough. Save the rest for later. Second, avoid eating them on an empty stomach or right before bed. Nighttime acid and sugar swings are more likely to leave you stiff in the morning. Third, pair apples with protein or fat. Cheese, yogurt, or nut butter slows digestion and softens the acid's impact. A practical swap. Bake small slices of green apple with cinnamon and oats. The fiber lowers sugar absorption, and the warm spice calms cravings without the same harsh effect. Let me share a quick story. Carol, 68, swore by her nightly apple snack. She believed it kept her healthy, but she often woke up with calf cramps and hip pain. We changed her routine. Half a green apple at lunch with walnuts, never at night. In just 2 weeks, she reported sleeping through the night without cramps and waking with more flexible hips. So while green apples look clean and crisp, too much, especially at the wrong time, can quietly rob your legs of comfort. With portion control and smart pairing, you can enjoy the flavor without the hidden cost. Number 1, mangoes, and finally the king of sweetness. Number 1, mangoes. Bright, tropical, and irresistible, mangoes are among the most dangerous fruits for seniors with leg pain and joint weakness. The reason is simple: sugar, and a lot of it. One medium mango can carry more than 45 grams of natural sugar, the equivalent of 10 teaspoons. For someone under 30, that rush can be burned off quickly. But after 60, metabolism slows, insulin response is weaker, and circulation is more fragile. The result is a sharp spike in blood sugar followed by a crash, which fuels inflammation deep in the joints. Over time, this means ankles that swell by evening, knees that ache after short walks, and toes that burn or tingle at night. The hidden danger is that mango doesn't feel heavy. It tastes light and refreshing, so it's easy to eat a whole fruit without realizing the load. But the body reacts the same way it would to candy: sudden stress, then silent damage. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed high glycemic fruits more than 4 times a week had higher levels of inflammation markers linked to joint pain. So what can you do? First, reduce portion size. A few slices, no more than 1/4 of a mango, are enough. Second, choose timing carefully. Midday is better than night, when the body's ability to regulate sugar is weakest. Third, pair mango with protein or healthy fat. Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, or chia pudding. That slows absorption and lowers the spike. Here's a simple swap. If you crave that tropical flavor in smoothies, use just a few cubes of mango and fill the rest with papaya or berries. You'll still get the taste, but with less sugar and more anti-inflammatory power. A story from my clinic. Robert, 72, ended his summer evenings with an entire mango. He loved the taste, but his legs felt heavy and his feet swelled by bedtime. After we cut his portion down to a few slices at lunch and mixed in papaya, the swelling eased within weeks. He still enjoyed the fruit he loved, but his legs no longer paid the price. So while mangoes may look like nature's candy, after 60 they can quietly strip away strength and mobility. Treat them as a rare treat, not a daily staple, and you'll protect your legs for years to come. Now that you know the 7 fruits that can quietly weaken your legs, let's turn to the good news. Not all fruits are harmful. Some are powerful allies, working with your body to protect circulation, reduce inflammation, and keep your steps light and steady. I call them the healing fruits. Let's explore 5 of them. First, berries. Blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries are rich in compounds called anthocyanins. These act like natural shields, protecting blood vessels and calming inflammation. A Harvard study found that older adults who ate berries twice a week had slower declines in mobility compared to those who didn't. The best part, berries are low in sugar. A half cup with oatmeal or yogurt can be a daily habit that protects your legs. Second, tart cherries. Unlike the sweet cherries in pies, tart cherries have a unique power. They lower uric acid. High uric acid often leads to joint pain, especially in toes, ankles, and knees. Researchers at Michigan State showed tart cherry extract reduced pain and flare-ups in older adults. A small handful of tart cherries, or a glass of unsweetened tart cherry juice, a few times a week can bring real relief. Third, avocado. Technically a fruit, avocado is one of the most joint-friendly foods you can eat. Its healthy fats reduce internal inflammation and provide natural cushioning for joints. Avocados also help regulate blood sugar, giving steady energy instead of spikes and crashes. Half an avocado on whole grain toast or mixed into salad is enough to support stronger legs. Fourth, papaya. Gentle, tropical, and rich in enzymes that calm inflammation, papaya is especially kind to digestion. Its mild sweetness makes it an excellent substitute for high-sugar fruits like mango. Papaya also provides vitamin C without the harsh acid of citrus, so it supports your immune system while staying gentle on aging joints. A cup of papaya with a squeeze of lime can be both soothing and energizing. Fifth, pears. Often overlooked, pears are an ideal choice for seniors. They have subtle sweetness, low glycemic impact, and plenty of fiber. That means they deliver energy gradually without straining blood sugar or circulation. Pair half a pear with a handful of nuts or a slice of cheese, and you have a snack that satisfies without swelling your ankles. Each of these fruits has one thing in common. They work with your body, not against it. They keep circulation open, joints flexible, and muscles supplied with steady energy. When you build them into your diet, you replace silent harm with active healing. Let me share one story. Evelyn, 70, felt her legs were growing heavier each year. She often ate bananas and grapes, believing they were healthy, but she struggled with swelling and stiffness. When she switched to berries with breakfast, avocado at lunch, and papaya in the evenings, the change was remarkable. Within 6 weeks, she told me she could climb the stairs at her church again without stopping to catch her breath. This is the power of choosing wisely. Healing fruits can help restore comfort, balance, and confidence in your steps. It's not about eating more fruit. It's about eating the right fruit for your stage of life. And when you do, mornings feel clearer, movement smoother, and every step lighter. It is never too late to change. Even after 60, your legs can grow stronger, your joints more flexible, and your steps lighter, if you choose the right foods today. Growing older does not mean losing independence. It means becoming wiser and more intentional with every choice you make. That is why I am building a community of people who want to stay strong and healthy, no matter their age. A place where we learn, share, and support each other. I invite you to join us because your best years are not behind you. They are still ahead, waiting for the steps you take now. If this message spoke to you, please like this video, leave a comment with the change you'll make this week, and subscribe so you never miss the science-backed advice that can protect your health and independence. Together, we can prove that age is not a limit, but a new chapter of strength,